All right, everybody, welcome back to Equity Guru. I am Chris Parry. With me is CEO of Nextech 3D.AI Solutions, Evan Gappelberg. Evan, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. We actually changed our name to Nextech 3D.ai. But yeah,
I did
I'm
that intentionally just to emphasize it. Yeah,
just to have me say that, right?
just to have you say that. Look, I've been watching you guys for a little while now. There are not a lot of companies out there that have been involved in the AI space for a little bit. There's a lot that have been involved for 3 weeks or 3 months, but as for actual companies that were out there doing the heavy shoveling when people really weren't familiar what AI was, you guys have been around for a bit. So you've got a track record, which is something that's pretty rare in this space. Um, by my reckoning, the rubber's hitting the road for your business model right now. Like it's really getting to an interesting point. How would you characterize the opportunity?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly how I see it. And that's how I tell my leadership team that, this is now when the rubber hits the road. The opportunity is massive. We're really just in the first inning of this whole conversion from 2D to 3D. And AI is kind of the secret sauce. It always has been for us. We struggled in 2019, 2020 to develop the AI at a rate that would allow us to produce 3D models at scale for the e-com space, which is our primary business. But then we made a transformative acquisition in the summer of 2021 of a company by the name of 3D.ai, which was founded by an Apple computer vision guy. It's a big surprise, a guy from Apple, developed this. And so we put $10 million into AI back in the summer of 2021. And nobody, like you said, nobody was really following AI, but that was what we were after back then. We were on the hunt for this type of technology. And so we took that kernel of AI and now we've turned it into a monster in a good way, where now it's able to create 3D models for us. It's still not fully formed. AI is one of these things that, just keeps on growing. It keeps on developing. And so it's probably around at the 50-yard line right now, but that's a long ways from where we started. And it's giving us a leadership position in what we estimate to be a $100 billion TAM, which is 3D models for e-commerce, right? It's a $5.5 trillion ecosystem. There's like 300 million products out there. And we think that without AI, you're just never going to be able to convert those over to 3D. So we're very, very excited about where we're at in this growth cycle.
The shifting of e-commerce from 2D based imagery to 3D is I think there's a lot of people that don't really understand that it's important and coming. But I've certainly bought things from Amazon or other online sources where when they show up in the mail, you get a little box this size and you think, was that what I bought? I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be this big.
Right.
Being able to actually know what you're buying before it gets to your door is kind of helpful. And a crappy 2D picture of someone's cell phone doesn't really do the sale. Whereas a 3D model that I can turn around, I can look at from all sides, really understand what I'm getting into, helps me make the sale, helps me know what I'm getting, helps me avoid returns. But most e-commerce websites would consider that 3D imagery is well outside their capabilities.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's kind of like, I don't know if you think about high-speed internet. I remember back in the day when it was a rarity to have a high-speed connection, a T1 line, I think they called it.
Yeah.
Right back in the day. And today we just take it all for granted. It's just everybody's got high-speed internet. So it's kind of the same thing. I think even if you think about film, photography, right? You used to have a roll of film and a Kodak camera, what have you. Now it's all digital. It's just like unlimited. It's in your phone. So, it's that kind of technology that's just going to creep in. And I think at some point it's just going to be standard. I think we're on that path. I actually think that the big catalyst is very, very near, and that is Amazon announcing that they're going all in on 3D models. I mean, the CTO has already come out and said 3D models is the future for e-commerce. And that's actually been said in stereo because the CEO of Shopify has said the same thing. And so it's an inevitability, Chris. And my thinking is people are just going to start showing up on Amazon and they're just going to see 3D models. They're not even going to see 2D images. And it's just going to become ubiquitous. Like everybody's just going to start using it. Oh, I could, like you said, try before I buy, put it in my room, see it from every angle, every color. You get to see the size. Returns are going to go down. Customer satisfaction goes up. And what's going to happen, Chris, is the whole e-com ecosystem is going to go from 5.5 trillion to 10 trillion to 20 trillion. And basically 95% of everything that's ever bought or sold on this planet is going to be an e-commerce sale by the year 2040. In the next 15, 17 years, everything is going to be
Well,
online.
we're
And
already there. Let's be honest, like we only really go to the store in person to kill time between meetings. Like,
well, I mean, you still kind of buy your car, you go to the dealership, right? I mean, if you're going to buy like a boat, you might actually go to the boat yard. But even those things, I feel like, are just going to have a digital twin. You're going to be able to put the car in your driveway,
yeah,
and you'll be able to test drive it using a VR or mixed reality headset. That'll give you the real life experience, and then it'll just show up in your driveway.
yeah.
If you
It's
even buy a car, it might just be robo taxis that pick you up and drop you off, in the next 15 years, and you don't even own a car.
yeah. Like everything is really getting to a place where you own less, you lease more, right? Like I want to see what kind of car the Uber that's coming to pick me up is. I think that the transition from one technology to the next is where the real picks and shovels money is made, right? In turning the internet from what it used to be, which is, if you're looking at video, you'd wait 10 minutes for it to download,
Yeah.
into a Netflix world. Now we're looking towards virtual reality world where we're going to need the next generation of the internet, the metaverse, which you're well versed with, no pun intended, to get what's existing into the next. Like if you're Netflix and you're sending out DVDs, man, someone had to do an awful lot of scanning to get that to streaming. You had to really spend a lot of time and money to get things ready for the next technology. And what you've created with Toggle 3D, or Access with Toggle 3D, is something that allows that to be almost an automated process.
Yeah. Toggle 3D is, our spin out public company. It's listed in Canada right now. We just spun it out, I think, a week ago. And Toggle is a purpose-built platform that takes CAD files and turns them into these lightweight polygon files that you can then texture just by point and clicking. And it uses generative AI to create these textures at scale. I was just shown a demo by my tech team on Toggle how they could take a photo and upload it onto the platform and click on a pixel in the photo, and the Toggle platform will create 3D 4K textures from just that one pixel that you can then wrap around the 3D model. I mean, this is incredibly powerful technology. If you think of the ability to rapidly prototype, we were just talking about that. All of that now is point and click, super simple, using Toggle, and it really democratizes 3D design, so that it opens up 3D design, and so that a lot more people can use it. It's no longer just for somebody who actually has a degree in design or 3D or CAD. And so we see the potential for millions and millions of users on that platform. And it's a SaaS platform. So, you're basically charging $29, $39, $49 a month for it.
So I'm just gonna show people. I think.
Oh, is this your account? You went in?
Yeah. So I like to talk about things that I know about. A lot of people that talk about stocks, they just read the investor deck, but I like to dig in, especially with tech stuff. So I set up an account with Toggle 3D, which I got to give you credit. Your website didn't say call us for a quote. It didn't say call us for more information. It actually described the product and allowed you to open a free account and actually test the product. Now, I've no CAD experience, of no 3D generation experience, but this one I'm looking at is very sensible. It's very easy to understand. So I'm going to start a new project. I don't have a file. So you've also fixed that because you've got sample assets. So I'm going to say, all right, let's pick some headphones. So I've got this little illustration here of a headphone, a skull candy crusher. If I click on one part of it, I can apply a texture by opening your library. I can choose a fabric.
Point and click. Look at, I mean, I love this. This is incredible.
It's so easy. It's
Yeah.
just like, I don't even have to, it's intuitive. I'm just moving my scroll on my mouse and it goes in and out. This is not the way things normally work in, a technology that generally would assume a bit of inside knowledge. And instead, what you guys have done is really just made it real simple. Like, this is now a product that I can point to, I can put up on my website and change
Exactly.
colors.
Yeah.
Let's go a little bit more green on this thing, maybe. Like
Look at that.
it's pretty simple. And then I can start moving her around. Now, I figured out how to do this in 2 minutes. And I guarantee you there are people out there charging $400 an hour for this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So if it's that easy, and then I can just go, all right, preview. There's, eventually you're going to get me for money, but I can pretty much see exactly what I can even upload my own stuff. I can put it in 4K. Like, this is real simple, real easy. And I think that for most people, they would not figure that this is possible, let alone on a large scale. If I had 400 products that I had to get through, like, this is a real simple way of doing the job that's been set upon me. And I think if people out there who do this sort of thing professionally, who do 3D renders, you just made their job a lot more easy and a lot more profitable.
Exactly. And it also, like you said, anybody can do it. That's the thing about Toggle that is underappreciated, is that what you just did used to require skill. No longer. You're unskilled and you went in.
Never had one lesson.
Yeah. And all of a sudden now you look highly skilled. You look like a magician. You look like a guy that I pay, like you said, a couple $100 an hour to. Like, if I didn't know what Toggle was, I would be paying you for that, for prototyping,
Trust me,
right?
I'm sending out resumes as we speak.
Exactly. So, that was why we built Toggle. That it's really that platform that we think could become the Canva of 3D, right? That really takes over, where anybody with a 3D model, and we think everybody's going to have a 3D model over the next few years. And so this platform is going to become something that's going to go into, turbo. We already had 3,000 subscribers while we were in beta sign up, and we think we can get to like 100,000 by the end of the year, just by putting our foot on the gas a little. We're hiring a growth hacker right now who is going to be coming from a blue chip enterprise software company that's going to essentially, their job's going to be to convert the 100,000 people into paying, customers, right? At the end of the day, we're in business. And so we think that we can get anywhere from 10 to 30% conversion on that. And because these are people that have projects that are, using the platform, there's a clear use case for them. Otherwise, why would they sign up, right? So we think that, it's not unreasonable for Toggle to be able to do 10 million in SaaS recurring revenue, out of the gate, meaning as we roll into 2024 and really just take off in 2024 and beyond. Because I think in 2024, with Apple's Vision Pro coming out, that there's going to be an increase in demand for everything and anything 3D. And so we're just, positioning for that. We're also, as we talked about, positioned for, Amazon when they open up Seller Central. There's 10 million merchants on the Amazon platform, 300 million products. They're all boxed out of the 3D market.
Yeah.
That's about to end, Chris. And when that ends, it literally is opening the proverbial floodgates where you all of a sudden have this increase in demand, a massive increase in demand. 10 million merchants all of a sudden scrambling, saying, where do I get my 3D models for my Amazon business? Because of the things you mentioned, you get a higher conversion rate, right? It's just a better experience. And Nextech, as a preferred supplier, is going to be delivering those 3D models to the Amazon merchants and monetizing that in a very big way. So, our whole business model has been get in front of the tidal wave, build the tech, and then ride the wave. And we think, it's just the timing is now.
Now, a lot of times with tech companies, the tidal wave can be problematic, right? Suddenly you've got to scale.
Yeah.
How quickly, how easy does this scale? Is it, or is it just like, if 1 million people hit it at once, it's fine?
No. So we, like everybody, struggle with scale. There's nobody that doesn't. Okay. So the thing is, though, is that in 2023, a new technology has emerged, AI, generative AI, and it's purpose-built for scale. So, it's just lucky us that we've been building our tech for this moment in time. We've been getting ready to be able to scale. Can we do 1 million models in a day? No, we can't. Nobody can. But in terms of scale, we will be the ones to catch. We will be the leader. We will be the dominant player. And that is in and of itself extremely valuable because there's just so many 3D models that need to be converted. And we're going to be using Toggle and other tech to scale the production. And you saw how easy it was, right? Once you have a CAD file on Toggle, we have skilled people, like you were just playing around, but we have people who literally sit there 8 hours, 10 hours a day doing that on 3D meshes that aren't preloaded, right? These are, products, right? Like chairs, couches, whatever, for e-com sites. And what's happening, which is very interesting, is we're able to get our cost down because of the AI and the ease of use, right? Because it's just time. And the demand is, like you said, about to hit in a very big way. And so that sets the stage for, explosive growth in our business. And that's really why I'm here. I mean, that's.
So as I understand it, what I just walked people through was, you have a CAD file of a product and you're adding texture to it and making it 3D.
Yep. Yep.
Your system, your AI system, correct me if I'm wrong, can take a 2D image and then process that into essentially a CAD that can then have the textures added to it automatically.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So the end-to-end solution, which is being built today,
Okay.
is the AI makes what's called a mesh, right? So from the 2D photo, which is the equivalent to what you just said, the
Yeah.
CAD. Okay, so the AI creates the mesh. That part of the equation we're building now, it's not built yet. That's pure AI. Okay, and it's really weird. I've seen it happen. You literally see like a blob start to form
Yeah.
into, it's just fucking weird watching it. But it's magical, right? It's AI. And so once that mesh is built, then you bring it into Toggle and you do exactly what you did. Magic. End to
The,
end.
the ideal is that I've got 200,000 pictures of 200,000 book covers or jeans or whatever, throw them all into your system in bulk.
Yeah.
And all I want to do is take a cursory look at each one before it goes out, and
That's
your
it.
system does all the work.
That's it. That's what we're building, Chris. You nailed it. I mean, we think that that's going to be done by the end of the year, and we're about on the 50-yard line.
That sounds to me like a very scalable business once the bulk of the work is done by the system and not by humans.
Yeah, that's been the killer is the human, element. And again, we've been working our way towards this. My whole way of kind of anticipation is hey, I know we're going to solve this problem. I know in 2019 my CFO is looking at me when we're building this by 3D models by hand and losing thousands of dollars for every 3D. He's like, what the hell are we doing? This business is not a business. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you got to understand, it's not about today,
Mm-hmm.
it's about the tomorrow, it's about the AI that we haven't built yet.
Look, I took a tour of a film studio in Ontario 4 years ago and saw what looked like a giant Professor X project. It was like a humongous big sphere of cameras, all like, high res cameras tucked around in a big circle. And in the middle of it, a beverage drink, right? And they're taking pictures from 1,000 different angles up and
Right,
down to
right,
create one image that you could spin around.
right, right.
And
Yeah,
the cost on that was
yeah,
ridiculous,
yeah,
and those companies, they never came to fore, they never made any money, they all
yeah,
died.
yeah,
You've got that industry that people have been talking about for 10 years
yeah.
right in the palm of your hand.
Yeah. By the way, Chris, we had the same rig that you're describing. It was like 110 cameras
Yeah.
ring fenced around this product in the middle. And we take a picture. They call that like photogrammetry, basically taking a photo from 360 degrees all at once to create this 3D, thing. But yeah, we also had handheld scanners that cost like $25,000 each. And you just like basically scanning.
Yeah.
It was like so labor intensive. It was ridiculous. And I knew at the time that this was not it, but I also felt like this was the price you have to pay to get into an industry in the early days, right? Look at the computer industry. If you go back,
Sure.
right? It used to be, the Cray computer was the supercomputer. And, I mean, all the tech we have today is standing on the shoulders of the tech of yesterday. And the difference, maybe in some of the instances is that some of these companies that were the pioneers have gone out of business. They didn't pivot, maybe because their business got too big in the early days. They couldn't. For us, we were always small, always nimble, and always thinking, okay, this isn't it. We just have to survive long enough and keep building and preparing for that moment. And now it's finally here, and it's magical. I mean, that's kind of the story, is that it's not easy getting here. We went through, the pandemic, and we went through 2022. It was a brutal bear market. We still feel like we're undervalued and underappreciated in the marketplace today. I still feel like we're still not getting the valuation that we deserve as a pioneer in the space, with Amazon as our key customer. But Amazon's not our only customer. We talk a lot about Amazon because they're the 800-pound gorilla, but
Sure.
we also supply Kohl's and Dyson and Procter and Gamble and over 150 other brands with 3D models. We've accumulated those 150 accounts over the past like 2 years. But Amazon is the biggest opportunity because, like I said, you got 300 million products sitting there on their platform, 10 million merchants, and they're all locked in to the Amazon ecosystem. And we're a preferred supplier for Amazon corporate, but they haven't opened it up to their merchants yet. But that's the catalyst, right? And when that happens, Chris, my prediction is the entire $5.5 trillion e-com ecosystem goes, whoa, wait, what? Amazon's going all in on 3D models? Wait a minute. Get, someone on the phone. We need 3D models.
Right.
Right? Because everybody has to compete with the 800-pound gorilla.
I think once Amazon really opens up the gates to you, it becomes a lot easier to just cut you a check and take you out of the game.
Amazon would probably be more interested in, let's say, a Toggle, right? If you think about Toggle, plugging that in, where you say to your merchants that are manufacturers, hey, bring your CAD files in and put them on our platform, and just point and click on the textures. That's something that I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened. And to be honest, if it doesn't even happen for Amazon, we could do that exact thing for all the enterprise manufacturers, right? We just plug Toggle in to their ecosystem and they use it in-house with their CAD files. I mean, we're working on a number of deals with large electronic companies today.
Let me ask you, I've had a little bit of involvement with some of our clients that are in the film production, TV production space, using a similar sort of tech in terms of volumetric capture and specifically pointed to the metaverse, but also the future of film and TV. Instead of having to fling an actor around a film studio, that you fling the cameras around, or you just take that big 3D image of the actor doing their thing and manipulate them in post. How close is the technology that you've developed to being able to actually add those use cases further on into other areas?
Yeah. So we're not chasing the human capture anymore. We played around with that. We can do some of it, but it's not
core business.
Not core business, exactly. It's more like our R&D, kind of lab. We're still playing around with that, and so it's very expensive, very time consuming. But we can do things within the CGI market where, again, the 3D models in the metaverse, those things are easy for us, and that's extension. So it's way beyond e-com, if really that's your question. Yeah, beside putting aside the human piece, you talk about products and objects, all that in gaming, in the metaverse, we're already doing that. We're already doing that.
If I'm creating GTA 6 and I need to build essentially a city, where internally and externally, every building, every surface has to be textured and modeled, and that's a lot of work, and it takes those companies years to do.
Yeah.
Whereas it seems like what you're setting up there might be able to really speed that process up.
It can, and not in all cases, not in everything. Not I'm not sure about buildings per se, but definitely products, right? Like, so whatever products that are in, if you look at these video games, a lot of the video games have like almost like a house or buildings, right, that you walk through, and there's actual chairs and couches and all of that. So all of that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, there's lots and lots of application beyond e-commerce. If you think of healthcare, all of the devices that they make, all the prototyping in the automotive industry, if you think of even drone
Fashion.
fashion, yeah, it's pretty much endless. And that's why we're so excited really about this opportunity, is that we're just in the very, very beginning. But over the next decade, I think everything's just going to go 3D.
Yeah. Speaking of Toggle, you guys have spun it out. So anyone who is a shareholder of your company, Nextech, has got themselves a handful of shares in Toggle as well. Does it give you a little bit less sleep at night to have to worry about two ticker symbols?
No, I mean, I'm CEO of both companies. I literally have created an enormous amount of work for myself by having three public companies that
True.
I run. But the reality is that I'm here to create shareholder value. And by spinning out Toggle, we were able to unlock almost $30 million in market cap that was trapped inside of Nextech. And the same thing with ARway. And this is still just the very, very, very beginning. It's like a week, these are babies, right? This is
Yeah,
a
sure.
week old, right? So, I mean, I think Toggle, you got to play with it. There's no reason it can't have a $1 billion market cap. SaaS platforms have a history of becoming multi-billion dollar platforms as they catch on. And so there's no reason that it can't be. Obviously it's not there yet, but therein lies the opportunity, right? Where it's a SaaS platform, right place, right time. It works. It's in market today, and you get to buy it for 30 million Canadian. That's like unheard of in
Yeah.
tech. If this was Silicon Valley
Well,
IPO,
you wouldn't
it
IPO until it was $1 billion company in that
yeah,
instance.
yeah.
You
But
don't get the chance.
you wouldn't even get the chance, exactly, as an investor. So here's a chance, it's almost like VC, but a little further along, because it is commercial. We do have paying customers, and it did go through, the whole pilot program for 6 months. So it's a big opportunity. That's, Nextech retained 13 million shares. And the reason we do that is because we want to participate.
Sure.
We invested, in the platform, and we want to continue to participate in the upside. So I'm the largest shareholder in all the spin outs, and in Nextech, I own like almost 11 million shares. And so I got a 3.6% stock dividend in Toggle. And from my perspective, I'm holding, for the $1 billion valuation. I mean, that's what I'm in it for.
Yeah. Well, look, looking over your stock chart over the last few years, in an industry that has been very much unknown to many for a long time, and with a lot of pivots. Let's be honest about it. You're a tech company where sometimes technologies become phased out, they become superseded. Sometimes they just don't kick off, and sometimes they pivot into other things. The changing of your company's name is indicative of that process, right? It's like you fail 5 times, but the big success is staying alive long enough to catch the one that really takes off.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you
And
think? I think it's pretty clear that this is the one that's taking off. Like we had investments in VR AR like 3 or 4 years ago. Too early, not enough people
right.
involved. the I'm going to get kicked in the balls if I keep this mask on too long side of things. But eventually you find that use case where it all comes together. Metaverse wasn't it, VR wasn't it, but AI is really coagulating everything right now. And so I think that this is the moment. You know, we're always in the stock market business. We're always looking for that moment where the train's about to leave the station and this is the best price I'm going to get. And, I honestly feel like this is it. This is the time for you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I would also add that, so you have like AI companies that sell their AI to others, right? Like ChatGPT, OpenAI. We built our own AI and we use it in-house, and we have filed patents. We're building our moat around our business. And so we are a true AI company that uses its own AI to create value. Not that we're selling AI to the world, but we're using it to be able to scale the production of 3D models. And so if you think about what's out there today, it's all this, text-based AI, right? Like it's language.
It's like ChatGPT APIs.
Right. And those companies are worth, 30 billion, 40 to 50 billion. I don't know, pick a number. So we're doing image-based. That's the difference, right? Image-based AI. We're taking, like we talked about, 2D photos. The AI is looking at it and morphing into this 3D model, a mesh that we then take into Toggle, which is all AI, and we start pointing and clicking and creating this end-to-end 3D model. But it's basically just algorithms and AI that we're leveraging to, offload the time, the amount of time it used to take us, which was, obscene. It used to take us a week or two to make a 3D model. And now, because we're leveraging AI, today it's minutes, and, it could turn into, I don't know, the seconds, but less than, if we're today, if it takes us, let's say, 60 minutes, in the near future, it could take us 5 minutes. And that is, just incredible productivity. And that's really what investors need to think about when it comes to AI, is this productivity increase, where it's not like 2x or 3x or 5x. It's like 1,000, 5,000, 10,000x. It's massive productivity increases. And that is what's getting, investors really bananas for AI, where, that kind of productivity is very rare that you get that in any kind of tech.
Man, I like what you're doing. I appreciate that, what you've built, and the fact that you've been at it for a few years. A lot of tech companies in the public market space, they raise a bunch of money, they spend it too quick. They're not there for the inevitable realization that, oh, we should have done it this way and not that way. But staying alive is half the battle, and getting to the point where you've got enough knowledge and technology to really take off into the market is an achievement in and of itself, man. So congratulations, sir. And we'll keep talking about you and see if we can get more people interested in this story as you go.
All right, Chris, thanks.
So that was Evan Gappelberg from Nextech 3D.ai and Toggle 3D, which NTAR is the ticker symbol for Nextech, and TGGL is the toggle. I think both of them are at a really interesting place in a down market in Canadian technology, which isn't, almost isn't a thing on the Canadian markets.
Right.
But you guys are getting there, and I'm buying some as we speak. Also, as we speak, I've been making more CAD models just because, ADHD guy over here can't just talk to someone. I got to be fiddling at the same time. So I'm going to put out a line of sunglasses in the next 2 days.